The corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street may seem like a strange place to meet one of the scientists from the magic island of Euclidia. But an even stranger place to meet a Euclidean is in your own home. That's apparently the situation which confronts Mrs. Gregory, her daughter Joan, and Jerry Hall. When Jerry and Joan started out to see a matinee at one of the moving picture houses, they met the Euclidean electrical wizard Thales, disguised as a beggar. Now they are locked in the radio room at Mrs. Gregory's home. And Mrs. Gregory has been talking over the phone with Captain Bradford at the harbor, where he went with Johnston to investigate the Euclidean submarine. A faint odor fills the room. The house is on fire, but Mrs. Gregory refuses to let Jerry or Joan leave the room.
Oh, I don't doubt what you say, Mrs. Gregory. If this room is fireproof, it's fireproof. But I don't understand why it's smart to stay locked up in here and let the rest of your home burn.
Jerry, Captain Bradford said we were not to leave this room until he or Johnson arrived to let us out.
But, Mother, your home is so beautiful, and though I have little understanding of the value of money in your world, it must be a very valuable home also.
It is valuable, Joan, and some of my art treasures are almost priceless. But there is no price as high as that of human life.
Well, gee, Mrs. Gregory, are you sure it's that serious?
I believe it might be just as serious if we attempted to open the door and leave this room.
This is indeed a strange...
Quiet, Tex.
Bradford to Gregory room.
It's Tex, calling from his car. Quiet while I answer him. Gregory radio room to Bradford. Go ahead, Tex.
Remain in that room. Do not leave until Johnson or I arrive to let you out.
We understand. No move is being made. Where are you, Tex?
Sorry, but for obvious reasons, I can't tell you that.
Are you in the car?
No, that is all.
Well, Tex is on his way here in the car.
But he said he wasn't.
Obviously, to deceive someone, Jerry. It would not be very clever of the captain to admit that he might be caught on the streets with his car.
Yeah, that's right.
The only thing we have to worry about is how long it will take Tex to get here and just how great our danger is.
Well, I'd say it was plenty great. This is getting on my nerves. Guys running all over the place, starting fires, rooms we can't get out of, and radio messages from cars that aren't supposed to be on the streets.
The only thing we can do is to remain in this room and do exactly as Tex ordered, no matter what our danger. He knows more about it than we do.
But how could the captain have known of our danger while he is miles away at the harbor?
You mean while he was miles away? I'll bet he's burning up the road getting here.
Yes, he should be here any minute now.
Mother, why do you refuse to answer my question? How could the captain have known of our danger?
I'm sorry, Joan, dear, but that's just one of the things you'll have to trust me about.
There you are, Joan. Now, what did I tell you? Your mother and Captain Bradford are just as mysterious as any of those scientists of G-47s.
They seem to be. However, I shall not question their actions again. Mystery is not objectionable when it accomplishes a purpose.
Thank you, my dear.
Oh, all right, then. Let's forget it. But I'm worried about that smoke. The smell is getting stronger all the time.
We might feel the wall and determine how near this room the fire is.
That would do very little, if any, good, Joan. Unless the heat were terrific, the soundproofing and fireproofing of these walls would resist rises in temperature.
Fine thing this is. Right in the middle of a fire, and we can't even see it.
I think that is very fortunate. If we must be in the middle of a fire, it is best that we cannot see it or feel it.
Yeah, I know, but we're missing all the fun.
Well, it might not be very funny, Jerry, out in that hall with fire all around you.
Well, I didn't mean to be funny.
Jerry, why do you say so many things you do not mean?
Oh, I don't know.
Jerry has a habit of talking to keep up the spirits of the meeting. It's not a bad habit at that.
Mother, the green signal light.
Did you see one of them go on?
Yes, it flashed on and off very quickly.
Which one, Joan?
I did not turn my head quickly enough to locate the flash, but I'm sure I saw it.
Then we must all watch the board carefully.
Mm-hmm. There it is again.
Yes, on the extreme left end of the central row of lights.
I saw it. That's the rear service door.
Isn't that the same door the fellow went out after he started the fire?
Yes. Why, Jerry?
Oh, well, he must be coming back to finish the job.
Perhaps the fire was purely local, designed to hold us in this room so that he might make a search of the rest of the house.
Nice going, Joan.
That is possible, but I doubt it. Oh, there's the next light. He's starting up the stairs, the service stairs.
Mother, Is it not possible that this might be the captain?
Golly whiskers, Joan. You're right. It's Tex coming to get us out. Come on, let's open the door.
Jerry, don't open that door.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Gregory, but, I thought maybe...
I know what you thought, Jerry, but you're wrong. That isn't Captain Bradford, nor is it Johnson.
Well, if he's planning to go into that study and steal something now, he must know that the fire can't get to him. And if it can't get to him, it can't be all over the house.
That's logical, Jerry, and under ordinary conditions, I'd say that we should try to find out what's going on. But when we're sure that the city contains one or more enemies, our best move is to make no move.
I believe Mother is right, Jerry.
Well, maybe she is. But that guy's getting closer to the study all the time. Now, look at those green lights flash now.
Mother, was that not the large central alarm light, the one for the study?
Yes, Joan, it was.
Then the study's being worked on right now.
At least the door was tried and probably... No, look.
The next light. Down this way, isn't it?
Yes.
What room is that, Mother?
Just a large closet, nothing of value. Really just a space on this side of the study.
Any more rooms between us and the study?
No, only a rather long hall.
I think the person setting off those alarms is coming to this room.
I'll bet he is, too.
But the fire...
Well, if he started it, maybe he knows how to put it out.
Oh, it's not easy to put out fires that have been burning as long as this one has.
Is it possible to open this door from the outside?
Only with keys, which Johnson and Tex have.
Then we're safe as long as that door holds. Say, he's trying this door.
Well, sit still. He can't get in.
Now the light for this room has gone out.
Oh, boy. Well, he gave up easy. Maybe the smoke out there in the hall was too much for him.
If we watch the lights, we'll soon know where he's going.
Mother, the door.
Huh? Door?
The smoke is coming in around it.
Oh, he's getting the door open.
Steady in there.
Tex!
Captain Bradford.
It did sound like his voice.
Come on. Everything's all right.
It is, Tex.
Oh, I can only see smoke.
I'm inside the smoke. Come out in the hall and we'll get a window open here.
What happened, Tex? Where's the fire?
Right in that smoke pot on the floor. Here, give me a hand to raise this window, Jerry.
Aye, aye, sir.
Now we can all have a little fresh air.
Oh, Tex, what in the world has happened?
Well, several things. I'll go over them just as quickly as I can. But I think we'd better stay right here in this window. I want to watch for Johnson.
There is something strange about this smoke, Captain Bradford.
I was wondering which of you would notice it first.
No, I don't notice it yet. It's smoke, and it's just as smoky as any smoke I ever smelled.
But it does not injure your eyes, Jerry.
Huh?
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't hurt your throat.
Why?
Our Euclidean friends at work again. And that smoke is one of their little tricks. Probably designed to create fright and give the impression of a fire without causing any injury or discomfort.
Well, where would that get them?
Wasn't someone in here?
Of course. And we traced them to the study.
Right. And the plan was to work in the study without interruption, as this smoke drove you out of the house the quickest way, which meant this window.
But we were in a room that was practically airtight, and the smoke did not penetrate enough to disturb us.
Right again. And our friend got discouraged and left.
How would anyone be so sure which room we were in?
Well, for some time, you've been using the radio. And a person clever enough to have a diagram of this whole house and know the shortest route to the study would naturally know where the radio room was.
Why, yes, I should have thought of that.
These Euclideans work so fast they leave a lot of things around we should have thought of.
And are you certain, Captain Bradford, that a Euclidean was our visitor?
Positive. Thales was the man.
Well, that isn't very surprising. We've known for a long time that Thales was in Los Angeles.
But is he alone?
I think not, Joan.
Did other Euclideans come ashore from the submarine which pursued us here?
Not much doubt of it.
Did anyone see them?
Not leaving the submarine. Both these boats are gone. Back to Euclidia, I suppose.
That would be correct, Captain.
Then how do you know any more of those signs landed?
I can't prove it, but here's what happened. Just after a Coast Guard flyer reported he'd seen two strange-looking submarines in the water, subs disappeared.
But they must have landed men before that.
Not so fast, Pat. I think they landed after that.
After the submarines disappeared?
Sure.
Jerry, have you forgotten how easily we landed from a submerged vessel?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Well, not long after the subs were reported, a smart newspaper reporter and a cameraman hired a water taxi and tore off out into the channel. They found four men, feebly swimming around the water and calling for help. Naturally, they dragged them aboard and tried to question them. But the four rescued men suddenly came to life and tossed a surprise newsboys and the owner of the boat overboard. Then they headed for Long Beach, and that's the last seen of them.
What about the water taxi?
It was found abandoned at one of the landings.
Did the three men who were thrown in the water describe the four men who threw them overboard?
That's the sad part of it. Those boys were picked up a few minutes later, as the water was black with boats by that time. But all they could say about the four men from the sub was that their faces were covered with black, as if they'd been through a fire or explosion.
Gee, maybe the submarine blew up with them.
Jerry, I am ashamed of you.
Well, what's wrong with that? Boats have blown up.
Not Euclidean boats. But in this case, it was only a quickly adopted disguise.
That's exactly what it was.
Well, didn't they learn anything from the voices? I should think that peculiar, high-pitched monotone of the Euclideans would have caught their attention.
The four men never spoke after those first faint cries for help. And a cry for help, even in a foreign language, sounds very much like any other cry for help.
Then you think we've got 4 more of those Euclideans on shore to worry about?
I'm sure of it, Jerry.
Have you a plan, Captain?
I've got several. We may have to try them all before we get away.
Get away? Tex, you're not going to run away from this, are you?
You bet I am, and I'm going to run straight to that island again.
But what can we do that we didn't do before?
We're working on that now. Johnson's rounding up a fleet of fast yachts and several other things, including a large amount of the chemicals necessary to compound my formula.
You're determined to go back and attempt to take over Euclidia?
Certainly. We haven't any choice, Pat. With at least 5 Euclideans in Los Angeles, and probably more, we're just as safe on the high seas or on Euclidia as we are here.
Oh, boy. We're going back to the Magic Island.
Oh, no, Jerry, you're not going.
But, Mother,
I'm sorry, Joan, but I've explained that to you carefully. You and Jerry will remain here in school where you'll be safe.
Yeah, we'll be safe with a town full of Euclideans.
But, Jerry...
Looks like you're going to have to give in, Pat.
Tex, you don't mean
I
that...
think it's best to take the youngsters along.
Did you hear that, Joan?
we will be going back to Euclidia.
But, Tex, the
The
danger of
danger
it...
would be greater for Jerry and Joan if they stayed here without us. All those Euclideans would have to do to be to kidnap either one of them. And our plans would have to go overboard while we rushed back here and tried to rescue them.
Sure. The captain's right, Mrs. Gregory. And Joan and I can help you a lot, too.
To be sure we can, and we will.
Oh, I don't doubt that, but...
Now,
oh,
Pat, you might as well forget it. None of us can make any plans to lead a normal life in this world until we break up that colony of G-47s. And the sooner we get started, the better. We're going back to Euclidia.
Back to the island of Euclidia, the magic island of the South Pacific Ocean. That's the plan of the Gregory party, which had so many weird adventures there before. At one time, and not so long ago, our friends had but one thought, to escape from Euclidia. Now they're planning to return to the strange island, but this time they'll be much better prepared to guard themselves against the weapons of G-47 and his scientists. In the library of Mrs. Gregory's beautiful home in Los Angeles, Captain Bradford is explaining his preparations for the trip. The clock is striking 12, midnight, and Mrs. Gregory, Jerry, and Joan seem greatly excited as the captain outlines his ideas.
But the thing I want you all to understand is this. There's just as much danger in this trip as there was in the last one, possibly more.
that's the part that I can't understand, Tex. You admit we'll be going into certain danger, and yet you're willing to take Joan and Jerry into that danger with us.
The captain has explained all that, Mother.
Oh, sure he has, Mrs. Gregory. It'd be a lot more danger for Joan and I to stay here than it will be with you.
That's it, exactly.
You three seem to understand it perfectly. But somehow I can't quite admit that a trip to that strange island is as safe as anything else.
Do you not understand that there are at least 5 of the Euclideans here in Los Angeles?
I realize that.
And you
Joan,
know
but-
they're going to watch Joan and me pretty close.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Well, we'll do it together.
Now you're talking like your old self, Pat. This is the first time I've ever known you to hesitate where an adventure was concerned.
I am glad you're willing to have Jerry and me with you, Mother.
Boy, so am I. When do we start, Captain Bradford?
Within the next few minutes, Johnson is completing preparations at the harbor, and we will leave there when he telephones.
Boy, I'd like to be down there helping them right now.
There's a good reason why you're not doing that, Jerry. We've got to preserve as much secrecy about this thing as possible. So I doubt if we're making a move that the Euclideans don't know all about.
You may be very sure on that point, Captain. If you have made any move visible to eyes other than your own, some one of the Euclidean agents has observed it.
That's why I'm so worried about the outcome of this whole thing. Those scientists know everything we intend to do almost before we know it ourselves.
Well, that's what I say. Why not come right out and tell them what we're going to do? We're losing a lot of time trying to hide things from them, and if they can find them out anyway, why not save that much time and get going?
Well, these Euclideans are clever, but they haven't learned all the tricks. When we sail out of the harbor this time, we'll have a trick or two on board that G-47 won't know a thing about.
Are you quite confident that that is possible, Captain?
You bet I am, Joan.
But, Tex, you've had so little time to prepare anything, and they've spent their lives working miracles on that island.
Oh, it's not as bad as all that, Pat. They haven't worked any miracles on Euclidia either. G-47 and his scientists are merely a clever group of men who are devoting their lives and unlimited money to the study of science. There are hundreds of men in the world who could do the same things if they had the time and the money.
That is possible, Captain Bradford, and I have seen enough of your work to assure me that you could equal, if not surpass, the Euclideans in scientific work if you had given the same concentrated effort to it. But you have not, and it would seem to me that the advantage was with them now just as it was before.
Well, now, look here, Joan. You haven't even given the captain a chance to tell us what surprises he's got ready for those men on the island.
And I'm afraid I can't tell you all about them just now. When we're safely on the boat and out on the high seas, I'll explain the whole thing to all of you.
Why, Tex, you don't think we're being spied on here, do you?
Probably not.
Probably. I thought Mother's home was so well guarded that it was impossible for anyone to observe anything they were not supposed to see here.
I thought that once. Now I know better.
Oh, gee. What makes you say that, Captain?
Yes, Tex. You seem very sure that this home is no longer entirely safe.
Have you forgotten what happened to you three here this afternoon?
You mean that Euclidean sneaking in here and making us believe the house was on fire so he could have time to steal your valuable papers out of the study?
Well, not only that.
I felt that we were exaggerating our safety here.
But how, Tex? How?
You discovered our private phone line to the harbor was tapped, didn't you?
Yes, but it was surely tapped outside the house and probably outside the grounds.
Right, but it was tapped. Though it's hidden underground in a maze of cables that all look alike.
Well, what if they did tap the wire? They can't use that wire to listen in on us now, can they, in this library?
No, they can't do that. But they have been using our line for their communications. And what I've learned about their plans proves that they know all about ours.
You have proof of this, Captain?
Yes, and I'll show you in a minute. Jerry,
Yes, sir.
will you turn the radio on?
Sure.
Throw that knob on this side over to the right, Jerry.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, that's right. Now open the top and start that turntable. The record I want you to hear is on there now. Now, if you'll all be quiet, you'll hear something interesting.
Are you ready for your instructions, S1?
I am ready.
You
Gee,
will
that
observe
girl submarine
this
commander.
And Bailey's also.
Tex, where did you get that record?
I can see that we're not going to get anywhere this way. Better stop that record. I'll explain it, Jerry.
Okay, stop it is.
I am sorry that I spoke, Captain Bradford.
And I'm sorry also, Tex. But those voices upset me so that I didn't stop to think.
Well, who would stop to think when you play a phonograph in your own home and those crazy Euclideans start popping out at you?
Well, I'll explain that, but first, did you recognize those voices?
Why, we
Sure,
surely
I
did.
did.
Hold on a
Captain.
minute. One at a time. Now, you started, Joan.
There was no doubt as to the identity of the voices. The man was Thales, chief electrical expert on Euclidia, and the girl was the submarine commander who helped us to escape from the island.
What do you say, Pat?
Well, I'm not as familiar with those voices as Joan is, but I'd certainly agree with her.
Jerry?
Yeah, me too. That's who it was, all right. But how did they get there?
Well, I'll tell you. Now, when you were in the radio room this afternoon, Mrs. Gregory showed you the automatic recording device attached to our phone lines, didn't she?
Sure. We recorded what you said when we were locked in there and thought the house was on fire.
Then you'll understand where this record came from. I took it off the recording machine in the radio room about an hour ago.
Tex, Thales is using our private wire to send messages to that girl submarine commander at the harbor?
No doubt of it. They made sure the wire was clear. But when they didn't think that we might have a recorder on the line, they certainly slipped up.
Sure seems funny for those smart guys to miss an easy one like that.
I think it was not so easy, Jerry.
Huh? How come?
Had they suspected a recorder at all, it would have been logical to find it on the ordinary telephone line into your home. But why should they think you would want to record your own private conversations?
I think that's right, Joan. But at any rate, they did fall into the trap, and we know something of their plans. Or did you get that much on the record?
Not as much as I would have liked, but plenty to show us that some Euclidean knows every time we take a breath.
Well, let's play the record again, and everybody still keep still all over.
Go to it, son.
I won't make a sound.
Nor will I.
Are you ready for your instructions, S1?
I am ready.
You will observe this to the letter.
I am waiting.
You will prepare to follow the Gregory boat. They will sail at midnight or shortly thereafter. Report on condition of your command.
My command is Patrol 1A, fueled for 10,000 miles.
You have received your instructions from G47.
My course to Euclidia is to depend entirely on actions of Gregory boat.
Correct.
Do you have additional instructions for my command?
I do, as follows. You are to make no move to hinder progress of Gregory boat. You will not allow them to see you. You will not communicate with them. Allow no other craft to contact them by means other than radio. You will take any steps necessary to enforce this. That is all.
Your orders will be executed. That is all.
Well, as she said, that's all.
Is that all there is on the record?
That's enough, isn't it?
Far too much.
Shut it off, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think of that?
It's almost unbelievable, Tex. They even knew the hour we expected to sail.
And if we had not been delayed, waiting for Johnson's call, we would have sailed at 12.
We'll be underway by 1 anyhow.
Then we'd better be on the way.
We're leaving at once. Your stuff all here, Jerry?
Oh, yes, sir. Right here with me.
Then come on, Pat. You and I'll check things over in the radio room for a minute. Better take that record along, Jerry.
Oh, yes, sir.
Do you wish me to come with you, Mother?
No, Joan, dear. You remain here with Jerry. And please, both of you, stay right in this room.
Yes, Mother.
Well, I'd better get this record like the captain said.
Jerry, I think I am afraid.
You're what?
I think I am afraid.
Oh, don't you know if you're afraid or not?
I am not at all sure that I know what fear is. We do not know fear on Euclidia. The sensation is strange to me.
Well, I've been scared often enough. I can tell you if that's what's the matter with you. How does it feel?
I feel as if there were something creeping up my back. Something small and very cold. The back of my neck has strange chills running through it. Oh.
Oh, boy. You're scared stiff. Well, I wish you hadn't told me about it quite so well. Now, I've got those creepy things running up and down my back.
I have never felt like this before. I do not like it.
Golly, nobody likes to be scared half to death. But what got into you all at once? You've taken me through plenty of places on that funny island where I got goose pimples all over me, and it didn't bother you a bit.
That is why this feeling is so strange to me, Jerry. I did not know fear on Euclidia. But now, though I have been in this beautiful home of my mother's only a few hours, a change has come over me. I have learned something of comfort, of beauty, of the sort of happy, foolish fun young people in your world have. And with it, fear has come.
You felt safer on Euclidia than you do in Hollywood?
Not that, Jerry. There was always danger on Euclidia, but I was part of it. Now I am not. Now your world is my world. And I realize how helpless your world is against such a man as G47 and his scientists.
Yeah, I know how you feel. But don't forget that we've got Captain Bradford, and that girl submarine commander's on our side, too.
I have told you before that you put too much faith in that girl, Jerry.
Well, she hasn't hurt us any yet. Gee, there's the telephone. That'll be Johnson calling from the harbor.
Should you not answer the telephone?
No. Your mother or the captain will get it upstairs. Now, where's your things?
My things?
Yeah, your suitcase. You know, your clothes.
I have nothing, Jerry. Mother and I were to have visited your stores tomorrow.
Oh, well, never mind, Joan. We'll see all the things I promised to show you when we come back next time.
Jerry, when will next time be?
Golly, Joan, I don't know.
No, Jerry. You do not know when we will return. Mother does not know. Captain Bradford does not know. Oh, Jerry, I am afraid.